With the death of Livia, the last restraint on Tiberius was removed. He handed the running of the empire over to Sejanus and retired to Capri. A reign of terror began. No one was safe. Sejanus arrested Agrippina, her eldest son Nero, and countless others besides. His ambition was limitless. He had divorced his wife, Epicata, and become my sister's Libilla's lover, hoping to marry her. My mother remained curiously innocent of much that was going on, until one day Epicata came to visit her. Sejanus had taken their children with him, and Epicata wanted them back. She feared my sister would harm them once married to Sejanus. Now she demanded that my mother speak to my sister and enlist her help.
Will you speak to her? Will you ask her to persuade him to let me have them? To her, they'll only be a nuisance. They'll come between him and her. I can understand that. But to me, they are everything. Everything.
Understand this, that though my daughter has lived in my house since the death of her husband, we are not on friendly terms. I despise her, though she is my daughter, and I'll ask no favor of her. I despise that man I know to be her lover, and you too I despise, for having married him knowing what he was. And now you complain because he treats you as you were once content to see him treat others. You disgust me, all of you. You and people like you have made a sewer of Rome, fit only for rats to live in. Honor, service, duty mean nothing anymore. For your children are everything to you, and what of Rome? All you are, you owe to Rome. But you destroyed it, all of you, with your greedy ambition and your petty selfishness. Well, then enjoy what you have made of it, but don't come crying to me.
I didn't come here to talk of Rome, but of my children. Rome can sink. I want my children. And if you won't help me freely, then I must tell you something, lady, that may compel you. I told you I knew much and more besides. Well, here it is. Your daughter's husband died no natural death. Castor was murdered by your daughter. Sejanus supplied the poison, but she fed it to him. Believe me, that guilty pair are set upon a course that would lead them to a kingly crown. They'll settle for nothing less. If I go to Tiberius with this story, what then becomes of your precious family name?
You're lying.
No.
What proof have you?
Slaves that will talk, freely or under torture, of things seen and heard.
Then why haven't you been to the emperor before?
Because Sejanus has the sorting of his mail and the sifting of his visitors. You should know that. To get to Tiberius would cost me my life, and that's my last resort. Oh, yes, he still reads people's wills when they leave everything to him. Not even Sejanus can prevent that. And if need be, that's the course I'll follow. Without my children, my life is nothing. Think carefully, Mark Antony's daughter. Guard your family name. Let the lovers have their crown. What is that to us? But get me back my children.
Well, she certainly loves her children.
Oh, you fool. Is that all you can find to say?
Well, what else do you want me to say?
Do you believe her?
No! Not a word of it. She's demented. Her mind's unhinged. The villa's done some pretty dreadful things in her time, but I can't believe she'd do that.
What dreadful things?
Oh, things. Well, she connived at the banishment of Postumus. Oh, well, you know.
No, I didn't know. How? Why wasn't I told?
Well, it was all a secret. I'm the only one that knows. I think Olivia paid her to it.
And why was it a secret from me and not from you?
It's a long story, Mother.
Well, what am I to do now?
We shall find someone else for you to marry. Stop blubbering, child. Do you think the affairs of state must take account of your marriage plans? What is it? She's crying because she can't now get married to Nero. I've told her we shall find someone else.
Is that all you can think of, Helen? Your own thwarted pleasures? You do better to pray for his safety. Now leave us. I want to talk to your mother.
She thinks of nothing but marriage.
And what do you think of?
What does that mean?
Is it true you intend to marry Aelius Sejanus?
You've been talking to someone.
Is it true?
He's asked me to marry him, yes. And I've accepted. Why not? I'm tired of living alone.
Oh, do you live alone?
I live here. You see whether or not I live alone.
You live here, but I don't keep track of your comings and goings.
I am still a young woman, Mother. Castor died nearly 5 years ago. You can't expect me to live like a Vestal.
I'm not talking of whose bed you climb in and out of. How and to whom you dispose of your body is your own affair, but marriage is different. Do I need to remind you whose child you are?
I am in love with him, Mother. And he with me.
He's using you.
I don't wish to discuss it further.
You're living in a fool's paradise if you think Tiberius will agree to it. Well, if you marry him, what will happen to his children?
What do I care about his children?
Apicata would like them to live with her.
I see. You've been talking to Apicata.
She came to see me. She would like you to persuade Sejanus to let her have the children back.
He wouldn't do that. He's very fond of them.
To let her see them again when she wants to. He stopped her seeing
What is that to me?
I don't know. Perhaps one day it might be a great deal.
I must tell you, I cannot allow you to marry Livilla. I've read your letter very carefully and given it a great deal of thought. But I'm afraid in the end the answer must be no.
May I know the reasons?
You're entitled to know them. Such a marriage would compel me to raise you to the most exalted rank.
You know I've never looked for that.
Oh, I know that, but I would have no choice. Do you suppose that Livilla, once married to my son, would be content to grow old as the wife of a gentleman outside the Senate?
Well, you could ask her.
Like all women, her answer would be one thing before marriage and another after. Her brother Germanicus and her father Drusus, my brother, both held the highest offices of state. Don't you think there'd be a faction in Rome that would demand the same for you?
I have always said I have no wish to rise above my present rank.
But there are some who say that you have risen above them even without rank. See, in envying you, they criticize me.
You say, on the one hand, I have too many friends, and on the other, I have too many enemies.
Well, is it untrue?
Well, if it is, I made them in your service.
I know that.
I'm not complaining.
No, I know, but you're disappointed. Let me put another proposal to you. One that would excite less comment. Since Nero's arrest, his betrothal to Livilla's daughter must be considered at an end. Would you contemplate marriage with her?
With Helen?
Why not? Such an alliance with my family would be much more acceptable to me. Well, think about it. Now, who is it that wishes to see me?
I have the list here. I've marked the ones I think you should see. The rest of no consequence.
Well, those you marked I'll see tomorrow. The rest you can send away. Well, you can deal with your problems yourself.
And Agrippina?
I'll see her now.
I take it you have no wish to see Nero.
None. Oh, Thrasillus, was I wise to deny marriage with Livilla? Thrasillus?
Wise, Excellency.
And to offer him her daughter instead?
He deserves it.
She's my right hand. Without him, I'd be everybody's drudge in Rome and the butt of everybody's hate. As it is, let him be the judge and him be the butt. My dear, you look like a Greek tragedy.
And you look like a Roman farce.
That tongue of yours has cost you dear and will cost you dearer.
You pitiful worm-eaten old ruin. It's not my tongue that cost me dear, but the love that people have for me and my family.
And how you have used that love against me.
Against you? Germanicus could have led the armies of the Rhine against you, but he was too noble. They proclaimed him emperor when Augustus died, but he said Rome already had an emperor. More fool him.
Every word you say makes my task easier.
Oh, don't pretend you ever found it hard to be vindictive. That you always were. But are you now so senile that you're blind to your own interests?
I'm not so senile that I'm blind to yours.
You're an old man, Tiberius, and you'll die soon. Where can you look for a successor except to the sons of Germanicus?
I have a grandson of my own. Livilla's boy.
Gemellus is a child. Rome isn't Egypt. Children don't rule because their fathers ruled. Rome must be governed by men, not infants.
I'll make my own arrangements. Thank you.
You. Oh, you think you'll make them? But he'll make them. Sir James, that black spider that sits on your shoulder, squirting his poison in your ear. You think you rule in Rome? He rules in Rome. And the moment the last of my boys is dead, you'll know he rules in Rome.
My dear, how pretty you look when you look angry. It makes me sad to have to send you away. But a queen must have a domain, and I've chosen yours. Do you know where I'm going to send you? To the island of Pandaria, where Julia, your mother, spent so many years in exile. You will inherit her kingdom. That's only just. Your greatest wish will be fulfilled. You will be queen after all. And as for Nero, I'm sending him to Ponza, an island even smaller than yours. You will have to think how to govern these mighty empires. If you're lonely, I could come and call on you.
Blood-soaked mud you've been called, and that's what you are.
Bring me a vine branch! This queen needs flogging before she goes!
Gentlemen, if you will leave your names with my secretary, all your requests will be considered. Excuse me.
Commander, did you mention my case to the Emperor?
Every case was discussed. The Emperor's decision will be communicated to you in good time.
But you did
Now, if you will excuse me.
But...
Father, you're back! I told you he'd be back today.
You only guessed. You didn't know.
Well, I was right. May we have dinner with you this afternoon? We've been very good, haven't we? We've done all our lessons.
Then you can have dinner with me this afternoon. And now, go to your rooms. I have some work to do.
Father, why can't we see Mother again?
I told you I didn't wish to discuss that again. I'm very displeased that you disobey me.
She came here while you were away. The servants wouldn't let her in. Oh, Father, please let her come and see us.
Go to your rooms. You have made me very angry.
Don't be angry. We didn't mean to make you angry, did we, Junius? Only we do miss her.
Lady Lavilla is here.
What a pretty girl you're growing into, Arya.
Thank you.
Now, go to your rooms. We'll meet again at dinner.
Did you ask him?
Yes.
What did he say?
He refused.
Refused? But why?
He said you were too exalted for me. Well, in a way, you are.
But we must marry. That's what we've planned. What we've waited for. Did he give any other reason?
He said you wouldn't be content that I remain in my present rank. He said it would foster dangerous jealousies.
Then you must try again later.
I don't think so. I think we may have made a mistake in asking him. I think it may have made him suspicious.
But he knows I have the right to marry again. Well, if he won't give his permission, we shall marry without it.
That might be dangerous.
And what are we to do? I want to be married. You promised me marriage. Have you changed your mind?
No, of course not.
Well, does it suit you living the way we do? Darling, all that I have done for one reason, and that is to give us the right to be together. And that old goat is not going to stop us.
He did suggest something else.
Something else?
He said that he wasn't opposed in principle to a marriage link with his family. He suggested a marriage with your daughter.
You bastard. You bastard. I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Stop it!
You swine!
Listen to me!
Bloody swine!
Will you stop it?
No!
Will you listen to me? Listen, if that is the only way we can be together, why not?
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? To be in bed with mother and daughter, you bastard, you filthy bastard!
Listen. Let's be practical.
Don't touch me!
Helen means nothing to me! But if Tiberius is agreeable to a marriage, then why not? That solves our problem. I will be linked with the imperial family. You will live with us. We'll be together.
And do you think Helen will agree to all this?
Helen will do as she's told. It will mean a break between us.
A break?
Not for long, until the marriage, so that people will think there is nothing between us. But after that, it'll be as though the marriage had never happened.
And you'll service us both then, will you, like a stallion?
Don't talk like that! I love you! And don't spoil it! Everything is going as we planned. Agrippina and Nero have been banished. They won't return, I can promise you that. I'm having documents prepared that'll send Drusus the same way. In a few weeks, Tiberius will consent to his arrest. Then that only leaves Caligula to deal with. When that happens, Tiberius will have no one to turn to. But me. Now, let's be sensible. We have waited a long time. You know I'm nothing without you. Let me talk to Helen. Let me persuade her. Trust me. That's all I ask.
Once again, the Emperor writes from Capri demanding yet another arrest. First it was the Lady Agrippina and her eldest son, Nero Caesar, and now it is her second son, Drusus Caesar. No documents are produced for the Senate to investigate. Only our consent is asked for. Our signature, like that of some compliant wife. Senators, my signature is not to be had for the asking. I was brought up to read a document before I signed it. You may do as you please.
Senators, I ask that the question be put for the arrest of Drusus Caesar.
No!
But I must see the Emperor. Those letters were forged. They're not mine. Please, let me see Sir Jameson. Please, let me out. Please, let me out.
He makes too much noise. Go in and quieten him. Otherwise you don't open the door.
Well, how do we feed him?
You don't.
Uncle Claudius! Uncle Claudius!
Caligula, where have you been? Staying at the house in Antium. I took some friends down there. Had a wonderful time.
Have you heard? Drusus has been arrested.
Yes. It's a great shame, isn't it? Do you think they'll kill him?
Did it worry you? After all, he's your brother.
I said it was a shame, didn't I?
Listen, Caligula, I think you're in grave danger. Who from? Who? What's... Tiberius?
No, I don't think so. He's invited me to Capri.
To Capri?
Yes, to Capri, yes.
Are you going?
Well, of course I am. Everyone has such a marvelous time. The stories I've heard. Do you believe them? They say that he has little girls running around the gardens like wood nymphs, naked.
What are you going to say to him?
What about it?
About your mother and your two brothers.
What on earth can I say to him?
Oh, damn it, boy, doesn't it worry you?
Well, yes, of course it does. Shall have to watch my step. Very unpredictable these days.
Listen, get... Caligula, if you get the chance, you must speak up for them.
Of course I shall. For Mother, anyway. To tell you the truth, I couldn't give a damn about Drusus and Nero.
But they're your brothers.
Yes, I know. But then you don't like Aunt Livilla. And she is your sister. Now I love my sisters, Uncle.
Yes, I know. You know, you depress me unutterably. Sometimes. Goodbye.
On! And your wife, the Lady Elia, is here.
My wife? What does she want?
Well, how should I know? She's not my wife.
Well, I don't be so damn rude. Hey, show it in.
Claudius, I heard you were in Rome. Why didn't you come and see me?
Well, what for?
What for? Oh, shouldn't a husband be seen with his wife?
Well, we're not exactly a husband and wife, but I'll come and see you if you like.
Oh, don't flatter yourself. It's to your advantage to be seen with me. You may be a member of the imperial family, but you're not every woman's ideal husband. In fact, you're not any woman's ideal husband.
Did you come here to tell me this?
Oh, don't try and be clever with me. I came here to see your sister. And when I heard you were in Rome, I thought I'd let you know that I was alive and well. Are you alive and well?
I think so.
Don't look either to me.
Well, it's been a very trying time since I got here. You know, my sister-in-law's been arrested.
Oh, Agrippina, yes. Well, that's been coming for some time. You may thank your stars you're married to me. That's brought you under my brother's protection. So, what are you doing in Rome?
Oh, I came up to use the Polio library. I've just finished the history of Carthage. Would you like a copy?
Are you being funny?
Oh, Mother, Elia has just called to see us.
Well, I really came to see Lavilla.
Well, I should have been surprised if you called to see my son.
Well, he makes no effort to see me either, you know. It's an arrangement that suits us both.
I'm sure it does. I find life very strange today. Those who are married live apart, and those who aren't live together. It would seem for the good of Rome we should abolish marriage altogether.
Well, your ideas are too advanced for me. Well, Lavilla is waiting. Excuse me.
What does she want with Lavilla?
Well, I don't know. Perhaps Jana sent her to find out how Helen was.
Am I to understand that man is now paying court to my granddaughter?
Well, he's had meetings with her, and he's not seen Lavilla anymore.
What is wrong with Helen? The doctors don't seem to know.
Well, perhaps it's just one of those women's complaints.
Oh, don't be so ridiculous. What do you know of women's complaints? The girl's been in bed for a week.
I want you to give him this. No one must see it. And tell him to destroy it when he's read it.
How is Helen? Is she improving? What exactly is wrong with her? He's very anxious about her.
He'd do better to be anxious about me.
Oh, my dear, his feelings for you are unchanged. You must know that. His marriage to Helen is a marriage of convenience.
He promised to marry me. Do you think I'm going to stand by and see him marry my daughter?
But if Tiberius...
Oh, Tiberius won't live forever. Your brother belongs to me. Tell him not to forget that.
He hasn't forgotten it. He loves you.
He manages well enough without seeing me.
Men are different.
It's driving me to despair. I can't bear this separation.
But it's only for a little while. And for appearance sake.
Ah, Atticus. How's it coming?
Ah, my dear sir, so well, so well. We have already completed 12 copies. It's going to be a wonderful edition. Have you ever seen such work? Look at this lettering. Oh, have you ever seen anything like it?
Very good, but I don't like all this decoration. It's far too ornate.
Oh, my dear sir, this decoration is fashionable, and if I may say so, for a history of Carthage. What could be more apt than elephants?
Yeah, but I didn't ask for elephants.
Yes, I know you didn't ask for elephants, but knowing your superb good taste, naturally I thought you'd agree.
Well, I don't. This is a serious work. Just because I mention elephants into the text, why do we have to see them?
But it's a motif.
Well, it's a damn motif. I've mentioned Hannibal's mistresses. I suppose you've drawn concubines all over the text, too.
Well, if you don't like elephants...
No, I don't.
Very well. No more elephants. Elephants are out. Our esteemed client disapproves of elephants. Even your elephants, which, I may say, are exquisitely drawn. But if a client does not like elephants, we shall force no elephants upon him. You will rework the entire edition. The copies won't be ready in time, of course.
Oh, well, I need one copy today. Very well, I'll take one with elephants.
Are you quite sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure. Just get it for me.
Ah, my dear Asinius Gallus, what a pleasure to see you. One history of Carthage with elephants. Our work for you is on time. Your copies will be ready in 7 days.
Good. Now, Claudius, what's this about a history of Carthage?
Yes, I'm having one copied, without elephants. I'll send you a copy.
Did you read my essay on Pollio and Cicero?
Yes. I didn't quite agree with it.
Ah, well, walk with me to the Senate and tell me why not. Goodbye, Atticus.
You will erase all trace of elephants, leaving only the bare text. Ah. What a feast for his readers.
Alas, I heard Pollio speak many times. He was a great orator, but he was no comparison with Cicero.
Well, I have to say I think him a fool. Cicero's speeches were pompous and contrived, and he thought far too much of himself, and they must have sounded worse than they read.
Asinius Gallus. Lucius Asinius Gallus. I have a warrant signed by the Emperor for your arrest.
My arrest on what grounds?
Of inciting enmity between the Emperor and the commander of his guard, Lucius Aelius Sejanus.
Is this a joke?
No joke.
Better hurry with your history of Carthage, Claudius. There'll soon be no one left to read it.
Sign it.
What is it?
A confession.
To what?
Your conspiracy with Drusus to subvert the armies of the Rhine. Sign it.
You wrote it, you sign it.
Sign it. You will before we finish with you.
I'll sign nothing for you to produce after I'm dead. Bring me to trial or murder me and take the consequences.
There'll be no trial. I have no need of a trial to prove your guilt.
A song sung by every small-town corrupt policeman, which is what you are and what you should have stayed. I've watched your career with fascination, Sir James. It's been a revelation to me. I've never fully realized before how a small mind, allied to unlimited ambition and without scruple, can destroy a country full of clever men. I've seen how frail is the structure of a civilization before the onslaught of a gust of really bad breath. Yes. But I suppose you're not really the destroyer. We must look elsewhere for that. You're merely the putrefaction that spreads after death, the outward and visible sign of its presence. You're a lesson in history to me, Sejanus, proving that above all, mankind needs its sense of smell.
Bring him round. We'll start again.
They've arrested Asinius Gallus on the steps of the Senate.
Read this.
I was there when it happened.
Read it!
Why? What is it? What are they? I don't understand. It's the villa's writing.
Read them! They poisoned Castor. Both of them. Apicata was right. With his help, my daughter murdered her husband. She reminds him of it, there. And now she urges him to waste no more time, but assassinate Tiberius and take over the state. It'll be easy, she says. Every guard owes allegiance to him.
What are these?
Oh, isn't it obvious? Drafts of the letter she wrote him. Oh, I can see how difficult it would be to write. How she crawls and grovels to him.
How did you find them?
A slave was clearing out her room. He was taking it all to the furnace. Perfectly good paper, most of it. Hardly written on. Oh, I thank the gods for my habits of thrift. Oh, he's wicked, but she's worse. She is monstrous, monstrous, and I gave her birth. She's poisoning Helen.
Oh, mother.
She's poisoning her, I tell you. Slowly, bit by bit, she is poisoning her. She is obsessed with that man, and she will stop at nothing to get him.
Well, what shall we do?
Tiberius must be told.
Do you want people to know that your own daughter... Anyway, nobody sees Tiberius or writes to him without going through Sejanus.
What's that thing you're writing?
Thing? What do you mean by history of Carthage?
Yes. Is it finished?
Yes. I was having it copied. I just brought one copy home. Would you like to read it?
No, I tell you what you must do. Yeah. You must go to Sejanus and ask permission to visit Tiberius at Capri. Tell him you want to ask Tiberius' consent to dedicate the work to him. Sejanus will allow it, I'm sure. He's nothing but contempt for you anyway. He'll suspect nothing.
Oh, thank you.
Those pieces of paper must be pasted in a scroll together with a letter of mine, and you will tell Tiberius to open that one first.
Well, I suppose I could, but I didn't want to give him this copy. It's got elephants drawn all over it.
You were the biggest fool any mother was ever punished with. Who cares about your stupid history? Nobody is going to read it anyway, and certainly not Tiberius. The only way you would get him to read it is if you drew naked women all over it. Then he'd only look at the pictures. What? Uncle Claudius? Why?
Get out!
What's in this scroll? Your mother's a very noble woman.
What's happened?
Her uncle has brought me evidence. My son was poisoned by his wife.
Glavilla? I always knew that woman was no good.
She poisoned him with the help of Sejanus. Now they plot to assassinate me.
People really are despicable.
The point is, how to arrest him. He controls the guard. 4,000 of them. All loyal to him. Not to me. His loyal servants, not mine. Castor warned me. I wouldn't listen to him.
Well, is there no one among them you can trust? No man of integrity?
Not that I know of.
Isn't that a terrible comment on our times, Uncle? On the other hand, if you can't find a man of integrity, I always say, look for a man with ambition. Find a dog who'll eat a dog.
Well, do you know of such a person?
Yes, I do. Sertorius Macro, Sejanus' second in command. He's very popular with the troops.
He arrested Alice.
Well, isn't he loyal to Sejanus?
Oh, yes, of course, but he can't move up while Sejanus is still there, can he? And he is very ambitious.
Do you know him personally?
No, but I've slept with his wife several times.
And is deception with the wife regarded these days as a sound introduction to the husband?
Well, he knows about that. Told you. He's ambitious.
I shall make you my successor, Gaius Caligula. I have decided. You shall stay here with me. Rome deserves you. I will nurse you like a viper in her bosom.
Is that a joke, Uncle?
Not yet, but it will be. Sejanus must be put off his guard. He must suspect nothing. I know. I'll tell him I'm going to Rome. I'll ask him to meet me on the Senate steps, where he will hear something that will surprise him.
What about his friends? He has a lot of friends.
You and I will draw up a list during dinner. A long list. The city will be purged. As surely as if she had gorged herself on figs for a year. I will open Rome's bowels. The streets will run like a sewer.
Hail Sejanus. Macro, why are you here? The Emperor sent me with a message for the Senate. Where is the Emperor? Waiting outside the city.
Why did he not send for me?
I could hardly ask you to deliver this. I believe it contains his request that you be made protector of the city. Doesn't that mean his successor?
Then you had better deliver it. I'll see that you get my command.
Has Father gone inside? Why doesn't he wait for the Emperor?
Because he's obviously not coming. He never comes.
What a shame. We may as well go home then.
Couple of the guard. You recognize the seal?
The Emperor, sir.
Read it.
Sir!
Take your guard back to the barrack. Inform all company commanders they're to remain in camp till I arrive.
Sir! Change! Forward!
From the Emperor Tiberius to the Senate of Rome, greetings. This letter is to bring to your attention a man who has for many years been my main support in the government of Rome. I refer to Lucius Aelius Sejanus, commander of my guard. Though not of senatorial rank, the very highest honors have been showered on him as a reward for the trust I have placed in him. Senators, what blow is harder to bear than a trust betrayed? Incontrovertible proof has been placed in my hands of a conspiracy to assassinate your emperor and take over the state. That conspiracy has been hatched and led by none other than the man in whom I put all my trust, Lucius Aelius Sejanus. Such is the advanced state of this plot to seize power, that I, your emperor, am marooned outside the city and dare not enter without certain assurances.
What's happening? Sejanus has fallen. He's to be arrested. Now, come on, move out of my way and let me pass.
To safeguard yourselves and your emperor, to safeguard the Senate and the people of Rome, I demand the arrest of Lucius Aelius Sejanus and all those connected with him. Signed, Tiberius Claudius Nero Drusus Caesar. I ask the question, shall the Senate follow the emperor's advice? Aye!
Do it. I can't just kill them. They're underage.
We're on the list. Now get on with it.
The girl is a virgin. It's unprecedented to kill a virgin. It will bring bad luck to the city.
Well, make sure she's not a virgin before you kill her. Now get on with it!
Mako, what have they done with the children?
They've gone on ahead of you, my friend. Like a good many others. Take him.
Doing? What are you going to do with her? For heaven's sake, let her out! How long are you going to leave her in there?
Until she dies.
Dies? Dies? Have you gone mad? She's your daughter. How can you leave her to die?
That's her punishment.
How can you bear to sit out here and listen to her?
And that's mine. Leave me, Claudius. I shan't move from here until they open that door and find her dead. Leave me.
Claudius, help me! They're killing everyone! Everyone who is a friend of his or a relative! Claudius, don't let them take me! Save me, Claudius, save me! I'll do anything, Claudius. Let me hide here. I'm your wife! You must protect me! Executions are taking place all over the city. The Senate straps are strewn with bodies. They've even murdered his children! They raped the little girl before they killed her. And they dressed the boy up in his manly gown. And they can't have killed herself when she saw the body.
Round me, you have finished! Finished! You are despicable!
Oh, Claudius! Please, Claudius! Help me!
You get out of my life!
No!
My alliance by marriage with Sejanus' family might have cost me my life, had it not been that I was my mother's son. I was now allowed to divorce Elia and to return an eighth part of her dowry. As a matter of fact, I returned it all. She must have thought me a fool.